Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel Applied Forensic Science for Justice Student Group. Myself Muskan Singhal, volunteer of Applied Forensic Science for Justice Student Group, will discuss about Introduction of Criminology. Content we will be discussing are Introduction, History, Difference between Criminology and Criminal Justice System, how criminology works, major concepts and theories, at last key points. Let's move to introduction. Criminology is the study of crime and deviant behavior. The word deviant means a behavior which shows heinousness of the crime. It is non-legal aspect of crime and delinquency, including its causes, correction, prevention, and from the viewpoint of such diverse disciplines as anthropology, biology, psychology, psychiatry, economics, sociology, and statistics. Criminology is a branch of sociology which traditionally examines human behavior, interaction, and organization. The end goal of criminology is to determine the root cause of criminal behavior and to develop effective and humane means of preventing it. Here, let me explain the famous quote. Crime is not a disease. It's a criminology which is a disease. Which means crime has been committed. It's over. Criminology means the study of crime. What type of crime is? Why a person has committed this crime? To understand the criminology behind the crime is a real thing. Therefore, crime is not a disease. It's a criminology which is a disease. Criminology truly began in Europe between the late 70s and the early 18s, when world was thinking that person commits a crime under peer pressure, that is torture. In that area, according to the classic school of thoughts, crimes are committed through free will. They did explain the criminal justice system drastically needed to be modernized and improved. At that time, criminal justice included painful torture such as stretching, crushing, and stabbing of the accused body. The classical school aimed to improve the system partially by limiting or eliminating the torture. It marked the beginning of great progress for the criminal justice system. Then comes to the new classical school. The new classical school of thoughts followed the classical school and brought with it a few revisions. For one, this way of thinking suggests that people can be led by behavior such can be irrational. It also suggests the world is imperfect and therefore there will always be a mistake. Self-defense is included in the new classical school of thoughts too. After new classical school of thought, here come positive school of thought, which believes that all people are different both intellectually and physically. Punishment within the positive school of thoughts would not be determined by crime, rather by person. Also, correction, treatment, and rehabilitation are theoretically possible within all criminals, and those that cannot be fixed should be killed. After that, in 1920s, Robert E. Park and Ernest Burgess presented their Chicago School of Thought, which tell us about relationship between sociology and criminology. Therefore, today's criminology, both the nature of crime and its impact on society, is believed. Difference between criminology and criminal justice system. Criminology focuses on the study of crime, whereas criminal justice system focuses on the system that address crime. Which means criminology focuses the study of crime, that is, how crime has been committed, and criminal justice system addresses the crime, that why the crime has been committed. Criminology involves a significant amount of research and analysis, whereas criminal justice system involves a small amount of research and analysis. Criminology develops theories, whereas criminal justice system puts theories into practice. How criminology works. In essence, criminologists examine very conveyable aspects of deviant behavior that includes the impacts of crime on individual, victim, and their family, society at large, and even criminals themselves. Some of the specific areas that criminology covers include: first, frequency of crime, that is, how heinous the crime is. Second, location of crimes, that what is the location. Third, causes of crime, what is the reason behind the crime. Fourth, types of crimes, that is, how many types of crimes has been committed. Fifth, society, that is, social and individual consequences of crime, that is, what is the impact on society and individual. Then, social reactions to crime, that is, how society reacts to that crime. Then, individual reaction to crime, that is, how individual is reacting to that crime. At last, governmental reactions to the crime, which means the reactions given by Supreme Court. Just look the figure given at the slide. Criminologists have to prepare a personal data of suspect with name, address, business address, identity card number, passport number, driving license, income tax number, car registration or other. It covers all the necessary information that we should know. Major concepts and theories. First, here comes biological theory. Biological theories of crime asserted a linkage between certain biological conditions and an increased tendency to engage a criminal behavior. Cesar Lambersro is a father of biological theory of criminology. He says that criminals are biologically different from non-criminals. Today's Lambersro theory is being exposed in two major areas, that are genetics and neuroscience. We will discuss each of them in detail. Here comes genetic basis of biological approach. Scientists are looking for a specific gene which is responsible for particular disease. Likewise, criminologists are searching for a gene which is responsible for criminal activity. From twin studies, there does seem to be some sort of genetic influence. For example, some studies have shown that identical twins raised separately are more likely to both the criminals, and non-twin siblings are raised separately. Since identical twins share all the same DNA, but other siblings only share part of their DNA. This indicates that perhaps there is a criminal gene somewhere in the human body. But so far, scientists and criminologists have not found it. Neuroscience basis of biological approach. Neuroscience is the study of brain. As brain imaging techniques becoming more detailed and less invasive, scientists are getting better and better at mapping of the human brain and discovering differences in people's brain. So far, studies have shown that there are some structural and chemical differences in the brains of criminals as compared to non-criminals. Psychological approach. Psychologists approach the task of explaining delinquent and criminal behavior by focusing on an individual's personality. Psychological theories of crime say that criminal behavior is the result of individual differences in thinking process. There are many different psychological theories, but they all believe that it is person's thought and feelings that results in their actions. Sir Sigmund Freud gave psychological theory. We will discuss this theory in detail. Sigmund Freud's psychological theory of personality argues that human behavior is the result of interaction among three component parts of mind, that is, id, ego and superego. This theory, known as Freud's structural theory of personality, places great emphasis on the role of unconscious psychological conflicts in shaping behavior and personality. Dynamic interactions among these fundamental parts of the mind are thought to process through 5 distinct psychosexual stages of development. Over the last century, however, Freud's ideas have since been met with criticism, in part because of his singular focus on sexuality as the main driver of human personality and development. Freud's structure of the human mind. According to Freud, our personality develops from the interaction among what he proposed as three fundamental structures of human mind, the ego and superego. Conflicts among these three structures and our efforts to find balance among what each of them desires determine how we behave and approach the world. What balance we strike in any given situation determines how we will resolve the conflict between two overarching behavior tendencies: our biological, aggressive, and pleasure seeking drives versus our socialized, internal control over those drives, the id. The id is the most primitive of three structures, is concerned with instant gratification of basic physical needs and urges. It operates entirely unconsciously, that is, outside of conscious thought. For example, if you ID walked past a stranger eating ice cream, it would most likely take the ice cream from itself. It doesn't know or care that it is rude or taking something belonging to someone else. It would care only that he wanted the ice cream. The superego. The superego is concerned with social rules and morals, similar to what many people call their conscience or other moral compass. It develops as a child, learn what their culture considers right and wrong. If your superego walked past the same stranger, it would not take the ice cream because it would know that it would be rude. However, if both your ID and superego were involved and your ID was strong enough to override your superego concern, you would still take the ice cream, but afterward you would most likely to feel guilt and shame over your reactions. At last, the ego. In contrast of intellectual ID and moral superego, the ego is rational, paradigmatic part of our personality. It is less primitive than ID and is partially conscious and partially unconscious. It is what Freud considered to be self, and its job is to balance demands of it and superego in the practical context of reality. So if you walked past of the stranger with ice cream one or more time, your ego would mediate the conflict between your ID and superego and decide to go buy and own ice cream. But this may mean you have to wait 10 more minutes, which would frustrate your ID and ego decide to make its sacrifice as a part of compromise. Satisfying your desire of ice cream will also avoiding an unpleasant social situation and potential feelings of the shame. We have to remember, according to Freud, the job of the ego is to balance the aggressive pleasure-seeking drives of the ID with the moral control of the superego. Last theory is sociological theory. Sociological theory of criminology say that society creates conditions under which a person commits a crime. That is, people are influenced by society to commit crime. Sociological approaches suggest that crime is shaped by factors external to the individual, their experiences within the neighborhood, their peer group, and their family. The points we have to remember are: criminology is the study of crime and its branch of sociology. It involves research into and analysis who commits crime, why they commit them, their impact, and how to prevent them. The goal of criminology is to determine the root cause of criminal behavior and to develop effective and humane means for addressing and preventing it. Criminology is related to but not identical to the field of criminal justice. Thank you for listening to me. If you have any doubt, tell me in the comment section. I will try my best to solve them.